Porami, Miriga Garambarak, Tiati Mara, Daragapemo. It's with greatest of gratitude that I say thanks to Uncle Greg Sims for teaching me the right words to use on country. My name is Daniele Hromek. I'm a Badawang woman of the Yuin Nation. I'm a spatial designer and a doctor of design, and I'm the director of Jinjama. I pay my respects to all elders and knowledge holders who have done whatever it took to keep knowledge alive about country and about culture for all of us to engage with today. I'm very grateful to our communities who have worked so hard to ensure that culture is alive and rich. And even here in the middle of the city, that we know what culture is here and what's important here about this place. We all work on country all the time, whatever we do, and especially those of us in the built environment professions and landscapers as well. That we're all on country, whatever we do, and it's important that all of our work is acknowledging and remembering country. Didgeridoo.
G'day everyone, Tim Ross with you and welcome to your 2022 AILA New South Wales Landscape Architecture Awards. It's fabulous to be back. I'm here at the site of last year's major winner, the Sydney Light Rail. And this year we had a record 91 entries, which is fantastic. As always, I'd love you to get involved using your old social media tags. Use this hashtag on your screen right now. Bing, there it is. Right now though, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to the New South Wales chapter president, who's not this person here, no, it's just a random stranger. No, is the very impressive Tanya Wood.
It is my absolute pleasure to be here this evening, welcoming you to the AILA New South Wales 2022 Awards ceremony. It has been another demanding year for landscape architecture in New South Wales. Again, we have seen a change to our everyday life with COVID. Again, we have seen another landscape crisis with the floods, and again, our profession has advanced. I would like to note the importance of the work each of you do in any corner of the profession, from design to academics to educators and students. Whether you have entered the awards or not, your contributions to this field, our field, is so vital to the community, to the people of New South Wales and Australia. Congratulations on your tenacity and perseverance. I would like to acknowledge the extraordinary work of the New South Wales Executive over the last 12 months. David Moore, Natalie McAvoy, Miriam Enoch, Grace Mansour, Kate Wallace, Katie Earle and Jason Cuff. This team of people have dedicated countless hours to advancing landscape architecture, have led and joined meetings with many of you, with government representatives both local and state, with students, community members and allied professionals, to name a few. This New South Wales Executive, and I am biased to say, is one of the strongest teams of professional landscape architects I have had the pleasure of working with. Tessa, Georgiana and Claire are the backbone of this successful team, and to them I am in constant awe and appreciation for the manner in which you lead. I would like to acknowledge the collective depths of experience and expertise we have in our advocacy, heritage and ShadeSmart teams. These groups work tirelessly, and you have no doubt seen the large numbers of submissions, papers and programs led by these groups. Thank you. The AILA Fresh team plays an incredibly important role. This direct link from student and graduate to practicing landscape architect is invaluable, and I would like to recognise their efforts over the last 12 months. AILA New South Wales have worked on and towards many goals over the last year. The introduction of the Casual Catch-Up series, strengthening our relationship with government and allied professions, advancing our commitment to gender equity with a mentorship pilot program, leading the ShadeSmart pilot program, continuing to offer varied CPD programs in person and digitally, reviewing the DPB Act and regulation, and of course, submitting on the disappointingly shelved Design and Place SEP. With the 9 ministerial planning principles also dropped, we have a challenge ahead, and I look to the membership to step up and be involved in forwarding the profession ensuring the provision of vital climate response design and equitable and resilient amenity for the continued health and well-being of the New South Wales community. The AILA revised strategic plan has ensured we streamline our collective efforts and provided clear focus to AILA New South Wales. It has certainly been a busy and challenging year. These awards are an excellent opportunity for us to come together, acknowledge the work of our colleagues and celebrate landscape architecture. Hopefully the first of many face-to-face events too. Thank you for being here this evening and thank you for your continued engagement and commitment to our profession. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our supportive awards partners whose contributions help bring the AILA Awards program to life. Street Furniture Australia, Lawn Solutions, ACO, Prolidic, Christie's Barbecues, Andreson's Green, Coordinated Landscapes, Gosford Quarries, Transport for New South Wales, Light Culture and Bega, Cecil, and Alfresco Shade. We continue to move forward as a profession. Never before has the call for landscape architecture-led projects and planning been as loud and the need as imperative. These projects are an important snapshot of the leading work undertaken by landscape architects in New South Wales. Congratulations to all who have entered. Good luck and enjoy the show. It is my honour for the first time to present the New South Wales President's Award for 2022. This year I would like to present this award to an individual who has a deep understanding and appreciation for landscape. This person is involved not only in implementing vital green spaces into urban environments with their own business, but is an educator in the landscape architecture and architecture fields at university, and continues to share his knowledge of First Nations culture with our profession. He is a Budjalung fella who calls himself the plant lover. The person I would like to present the New South Wales President's Award to for 2022 is Clarence Slockey. Clarence is an advocate for equality and access to green space. Clarence has an unmatched passion for landscape and a love of the land that is deserving of this high recognition. Clarence's exceptional work in regeneration, education, sustainability and preservation are a testament to his skill and character. Congratulations to Clarence Slockey.
Andrew Turnbull, jury chair, good to have you with me, mate. Who did you invite this year to be on your jury?
It was a very diverse jury this year, and we made sure that we had representation from small practice, from government, from mid and large size practice, from regional and metro locations. So it was a great group of people. I have to say we were challenged by the number of entries this year. So I'd like to recognise my fellow jurors because it is a big commitment. Daniele Hromek, David Head, Jess Miller, Jon Hazelwood, Julia Manrique, Simon Kilbane, Amie Mason, and a special guest juror this year for the ShadeSmart Award, Elizabeth King from the Cancer Council.
Andrew, any key reflections through the jury process this year?
I think what we're seeing is a real strength of projects in infrastructure, public open space planning, and there's a big commitment to research, policy and communications within the communities, and I think this is born out of post-pandemic, where people are spending a lot more time and demanding a lot more of our spaces externally. And I think also a trend this year towards regional tourism, in that a lot of the townships are investing in their future. And that was really borne out this year in the awards. There were more than a third of the projects were regional awards, which is quite significant when you think about what's going on.
Have you noticed any changes in the scope of the profession over the last few years?
Interesting question. I think, there's definitely a strength in the profession, and that it's taking a more dominant and leadership role in a lot of the public domain around climate resilience, about building strong communities, which really landscape architects are at the forefront to champion. And I think it's also the taking a responsibility of engaging with stakeholders and the community, because at the end of the day, the projects are to be delivered for the community,
Do you think because the community has that buy-in, the profile of the industry has increased?
I think so. I think it's shifting. I think, 10 years ago you ask, what's a landscape architect? A lot of people probably couldn't answer that question. Glorified gardener or whatever that might
Well, that's
have
the truth,
been.
though.
I know.
No, it's not.
For some people it may
No.
be, but I think certainly these awards programs and the promotion on big issues facing society now, landscape architects are standing up.
I think, from a city point of view, isn't it, over the last few years, as the city becomes denser and public space becomes more important, what you do is far more important to all of us.
Yes, I think so. And I think the fact that we're here today outside a key piece of transport infrastructure, it highlights the breadth to which landscape architects are involved in our communities, from small projects to major infrastructure in regional, in metro locations. So it's very, very diverse.
Projects entered into 15 categories this year. Which one was the most challenging?
I'd have to say the cultural heritage category this year. I think as the profession and society at large is being challenged by First Nation, European settlement, multicultural society, how do we capture these shared histories in our projects, and how do we represent them, that all members of the community can appreciate them? So I think from the jury point of view, that was definitely the most challenging category, but I think it's exciting.
This year there's a new category, the ShadeSmart Award. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so membership probably quite aware that New South Wales AILA has taken a lead through a partnership with the Cancer Council and Cancer Institute, really to champion great design, planning and research into shade and UV protection in our public spaces for the prevention of skin cancer. I mean, it's a $1.7 billion issue now, and landscape architects are at the forefront through their design to be able to champion this cause. And I think shade planning is going to be a common term in the future as the ShadeSmart, the SunSmart was very much part of the public campaign for skin cancer and slip, slop, slap. ShadeSmart now is going to be the new language.
It's very, very important. Well, thanks, Andrew. It's been great here to sit at the old light rail stop and have a chat.
Good, thank you.
Cheers. Right now, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce the Honourable Minister Rob Stokes, New South Wales Minister for Infrastructure, Minister for Cities and Minister for Active Transport.
Good evening. I wish I could be with you all to celebrate at the 2022 Australian Institute of Landscape Architecture Awards, but sadly Parliament is sitting, but I understand Government is well represented in the room with the New South Wales Government Architect Abby Galvin, the irrepressible Caroline Butler-Bowden and the amazing Barbara Schaefer, just to name a few, with you in the audience. Can I start by thanking Andrew Turnbull and the incredible jury who has the very invidious task of selecting winners among the 91 entrants for the awards this year. But can I thank everyone in the room for the way in which you have participated with government and society in building projects and developing policy to make our landscape an even more beautiful and accessible and meaningful place. Something that's occurred to me in my journey through government is that while we like to celebrate individual structures or monuments, whether they're motorways or stadiums, whether we celebrate individuals because of their wealth, their power, The real meaning of a society is none of these things. It's actually how we treat the margins, whether it's people on the margins, the way in which we assist those who are vulnerable or suffering or in pain or who are lonely. How we treat those people is a measure of the civilization we create, but also how we treat the space in the margins, the way in which we connect structures with one another and the way in which we connect ourselves to one another and to our landscape is a critically important mark of the society we seek to create. That's why your role in our community is so important. You create the public spaces. You're engaged in the role of restoring our environment and making meaning of it and including people in it and making it accessible for one another to create meaningful, lifelong relationships between people who might not otherwise meet, and to also forge those connections and rediscover those connections between people who are often alienated from their environment and the environment that surrounds them, so that we can create an embracive, restored, inclusive society. That's the work you're on, and that's why I salute you all. Thanks a lot.
Sit back, fill your glasses, and let's discover our first award category. First up is community contribution. Projects in this category include constructed projects or strategies delivered either as a pro bono service or significantly reduced fee to the community, or have positively impacted a disadvantaged individual or group of users who wouldn't normally have access to design expertise. The community contribution category received 6 entries.
Albury Public School Green Space Project, Yonder Landscape Architecture, Carrington Foreshore Improvements, Moya Landscape Architecture, Cessnock West Public School, Moya Landscape Architecture, Foyer Central, Oculus, Gosford Leaks Club Park, Turf Design Studio, Smart Trees Beresford Local Centre Redesign Pilot Project, University of Newcastle School of Architecture and Built Environment, City of Newcastle, Up and Up, and Terrace Landscape Architecture.
The jury has awarded 3 landscape architecture awards in this category. The first landscape architecture award in community contribution goes to Albury Public School Green Space Project by Yonder Landscape Architecture.
This simple and transformative design, won through a thoughtful and empowering process of community engagement, leverages a limited budget while contributing to the school's outdoor learning environment. The consideration and sensitivity by the landscape architects beautifully balances pragmatism with aspiration, while also demonstrating leadership in pursuing depaving and prioritising biophilic aspects of design over more easily maintained play equipment. The project is an authentic commitment to building trust and relationship with the community. The process is replicable to other school communities and is to be commended for its positive impact. Congratulations, Yonder Landscape Architecture.
The second Landscape Architecture Award in Community Contribution goes to Carrington Foreshore Improvements by Moya Landscape Architecture.
A brilliant example of using landscape architectural practice and design to breathe life strategically and effectively into the Carrington Green Space Master Plan. This sets a high benchmark for future editions while inviting community and government support. A clearly articulated vision with the future potential for reimagining the foreshore as a place for people. This project offers many tangible health, recreation, and social inclusion benefits to the community. In particular, the lighting design will be of great benefit along the foreshore and will extend an invitation to the broader community to reclaim this public space as their own. The consideration given to sustainable use of materials and Indigenous culture is commendable. Congratulations, Moya Landscape Architecture.
The third Landscape Architecture Award in Community Contribution goes to Smart Trees Beresford Local Centre Redesign Pilot Project, University of Newcastle School of Architecture and Built Environment, City of Newcastle, Up and Up, and Terrace Landscape Architecture.
It is important that landscape architects continue to advocate for projects that aim to reduce urban heat island effects in our city spaces. It is also important that this work reaches beyond strategy and policy and is consistently tested and taken to the streets. This fantastic little project, led by University of Newcastle, clearly demonstrates the ways we can mitigate urban heat. Importantly, it also demonstrates leadership in community outreach and educates the public on how landscape architecture can improve our lived experience of the city. Congratulations to the team.
Next up, the landscape planning category is proudly presented to you by AILA New South Wales principal and long-standing partner, Andreasen's Green. Landscape planning. Projects in this category are constructed or strategic projects include strategic design and guiding policy documents and visual assessments for urban development, residential and planned communities, local community and rural or regional planning. And this category received 10 entries. Let's have a look at them now.
New South Wales Urban Tree Canopy, Targets and Controls. Gallagher Studio with Studio Zanardo. Penrith Green Grid. Tract. The Western Parkland City Landscape-Led Design. Tyrrell Studio. Western Sydney Street Design Guidelines. Aspect Studios. Bankstown and Campsie CBD Urban Tree Canopy Master Plan. Oculus with Tree IQ and Homewood Consulting. Fernhill Estate Foundation Plan of Management to 2026. Greater Sydney Parklands, New South Wales Department of Planning and Environment. Metropolitan Green Space Spatial Framework. ARUP. Parramatta Light Rail Stage 1 Tree Offset Strategy. Transport for New South Wales. Rosemeadow Demonstration Project. Department of Planning and Environment, New South Wales Government with Campbelltown City Council and Realm Studios. Schofield's Demonstration Precinct. Place Design Group.
Now, our wonderful jury has awarded 3 Landscape Architecture Awards and 1 Award of Excellence in this category. The first Landscape Architecture Award in Landscape Planning goes to Western Sydney Street Design Guidelines by Aspect Studios.
The Western Sydney Street Design Guidelines delivers an outstanding document that reinforces the role of landscape architects in advocating for quality and resilient streets in our cities. This document offers leadership in innovation, consultation and strategic thinking that supports a departure from the business-as-usual streets design. It provides technical information to government, authorities and consultants to realise quality streetscape outcomes that are an integral element of urban infrastructure. Congratulations, Aspect Studios.
The second Landscape Architecture Award in Landscape Planning goes to Penrith Green Grid by Tract.
The landscape architect has completed a visionary, highly accessible and engaging green grid strategy that will help illustrate and visualise cooler and greener neighbourhoods for the future city. Packaged with an array of inspiring photo montages and video visualisation, green infrastructure priorities were methodically laid out as a plan to interconnect parks, waterways and bushland and to encourage active transport by connecting schools, public transport and town centres. The result is a remarkable, well-researched and tangible piece of green infrastructure planning for Penrith's future. Congratulations, Tract.
And the third Landscape Architecture Award in Landscape Planning goes to the Western Parkland City Landscape-Led Design by Tyrrell Studio.
This is an important piece of work that has set the standard for how the new Parkland City is to be planned. It places the landscape of Western Sydney and its delicate threatened water and ecological systems at the centre of the planning of the city's streets, parks and spaces. The role of the landscape architect is commended in advancing a landscape design-led document that sets a benchmark for similar projects and will guide the development of the Parkland City into the future. In particular, the importance it places on country, a process that included extensive involvement of the New South Wales Indigenous design community, is acknowledged. Congratulations, Tyrrell Studio.
Finally, the Excellence Award in Landscape Planning goes to New South Wales Urban Tree Canopy, Targets and Controls by Gallagher Studio with Studio Zanardo.
The New South Wales Urban Tree Canopy Study is an exemplar document supported by rigorous research, realistic applications, and is clearly articulated. Defensible targets and controls have been established as a benchmark to inform urban tree canopy for urban areas, public streets, and commercial lands. This is an industry-leading framework that provides planning authorities an instrument to deliver a meaningful urban tree canopy. It has been adopted in New South Wales government policy guidelines and allowed local government to prepare urban tree master plans as a commitment to green infrastructure, shade planning, and sustainable communities. A project of excellence that has wide application for government and the landscape architecture profession. Congratulations, Gallagher Studio with Studio Zanardo.
The people who created Sir Walter are revolutionising the turf industry. Lawn Solutions Australia. Aussie turf farmers creating beautiful greener environments across our country. Guaranteed premium turf varieties, lawn solution centres, advice and lawn care products. Lawn Solutions Australia, setting new standards in turf.
Next up is the Gardens category, and it's proudly presented to you by Lawn Solutions Australia. Projects in this category include constructed private and public gardens that contribute to the role and understanding of the garden in contemporary society and culture. This category received 4 entries.
Government House Gardens, Jane Irwin Landscape Architecture. Iconic, Elizabeth Street, Waterloo. Black Beetle. Night Sky Garden, Sophie Zacconi Landscape Architect. Pavilions Residence, 360 Degrees Landscape Architects.
The jury awarded 2 landscape architecture awards in this category, and the first one goes to Night Sky Garden by Sophie Zacconi Landscape Architect.
A restrained project that has been thoughtfully conceived and integrated with the architecture to achieve the design intent for an outcome that privileges the client's physical needs and desires to live in harmony with the local landscape. The craft of the landscape architect is evidenced in the planting design, materiality, and exploration of the seamless transitions between the architecture and landscape. A commendable project. Congratulations, Sophie Zacconi Landscape Architect.
And our second landscape architecture award in gardens goes to Government House Gardens by Jane Irwin Landscape Architecture.
The jury commends this project for its singular approach to the planted aspects of the project. The project recognises the historical context and aesthetic of exotic perennial and shrub planting and explores ways to better reflect today's understanding of the Australian native palette and its importance to biodiversity, cultural connections and beauty. The clearly hands-on approach of the landscape architect is recognised, as is the close working relationship of designer, gardener and nursery in the selection, placement and ongoing management of species. Congratulations, Jane Irwin Landscape Architecture.
Next up is the Policy, Research and Communications category, proudly presented to you by Cecil Australia. Projects in this category include published work and research and/or practice that extend the knowledge base and advocacy of landscape architecture. The 3 nominees are
Landscape Architecture Foundation Case Study Investigations, South Everleigh Community Rooftop Garden and Sydney Park Water Reuse Project. UNSW Landscape Architecture in collaboration with GWA, Turf Design Studio and Environmental Partnership. Green Track for Parramatta Light Rail. Transport for New South Wales. Southern Resilience. University of Technology Sydney and University of Newcastle.
The jury, impressed by the entries in this category, awarded all projects with 1 Award of Excellence and 2 Landscape Architecture Awards. The first Landscape Architecture Award in Research, Policy and Communication goes to Southern Resilience by the University of Technology Sydney and University of Newcastle.
A transformative project that has elevated the appreciation, exploration and discussion of the intrinsic value of the unique Australian landscape. The 3 short films are commended for their innovative research, practice collaboration and for stimulating discussion. The project is an exemplar of the leadership by the landscape architect-led team that draws attention on an international stage, the Venice Biennale 2021, to our sensitive landscape, which evolves through time and is shaped by a diversity of natural and man-induced events. Southern Resilience is to be celebrated and applauded. Congratulations, University of Technology Sydney and University of Newcastle.
The second Landscape Architecture Award in Research, Policy and Communication goes to Green Track for Parramatta Light Rail by Transport for New South Wales.
The Green Track for Parramatta Light Rail project delivers transformative thinking and a green benchmark to replace traditional concrete, asphalt or gravel hard surfacing treatments. A project founded in best practice research, testing and application to deliver sustainable green and transport infrastructure. The leadership of the landscape architect is to be commended in challenging traditional practice to deliver high-performance environmental intervention that supports new light rail infrastructure. A highly commendable project that has application nationally. Congratulations, Transport for New South Wales.
And you guessed it, the winner of the Award of Excellence in the Policy, Research and Communications category is Landscape Architecture Foundation Case Study Investigations, South Everleigh Community Rooftop Garden and Sydney Park Water Reuse Project by UNSW Landscape Architecture in collaboration with GWA, Turf Design Studio and Environmental Partnership.
A collective approach and case study investigation method is acknowledged as a benchmark for knowledge exchange and evidence-based landscape performance. The project advances knowledge and thinking around our urban landscapes and their role in urban resilience. The landscape architect team is commended for their exploration of complex urban sustainability, inclusive knowledge sharing, and defining a research and investigation model that is transferable to other projects. Congratulations, UNSW Landscape Architecture and the team.
Now we're moving on to the land management category now. Projects in this category are constructed projects or strategies for the restoration, conservation or management of significant landscapes that demonstrate a tangible physical outcome. The project may recognise and reconcile the natural and cultural values of communities and the landscape in which they are placed. The category received 5 entries.
Bonnie Vale Camping Grounds, tracked. Fernhill Estate Foundation Plan of Management to 2026. Greater Sydney Parklands, New South Wales Department of Planning and Environment. Hornsby Park Master Plan, Clouston Associates. Koala Habitat Establishment, Pacific Highway Upgrade, Wardell. Corkery Consulting in association with Studio Colin Polworth. University of Newcastle, Delprat Garden. University of Newcastle, School of Architecture and Built Environment.
The jury awarded 2 Landscape Architecture Awards in this category. First one goes to the University of Newcastle, Delprat Garden by University of Newcastle, School of Architecture and Built Environment.
This project demonstrates how scientific ecological research can also be an educational and interpretive installation. Whilst this is a project that advances the profession's knowledge of how plants can be used to remediate a contaminated site, it also draws on the rich historical context of the Delprat Gardens to create a series of gardens that have become important to the local gardening groups and community. Trialling native and exotic annuals, perennials, shrubs and trees, the project is an important demonstration of the power of landscape architecture as a collaborative process that can make a real difference to how we repair damage that we have done to country. Congratulations to the team.
The second Landscape Architecture Award in Land Management goes to Koala Habitat Establishment Pacific Highway Upgrade, Wardle by Corkery Consulting in association with Studio Colin Polworth.
Koalas, one of Australia's most iconic wildlife species, are under increasing pressure from habitat destruction, bushfires, and habitat clearing from agriculture, urban development, and infrastructure. This project offers hope for our imperilled wildlife in uncertain times. It is a practical exemplar that sets a new standard for major infrastructure design and construction with respect to wildlife protection. The landscape architect's role in executing a koala revegetation strategy for 130 hectares and creating a series of bespoke wildlife underpasses for koalas and other wildlife to move safely between existing and restored habitat areas is the legacy of this project. Congratulations, Corkery Consulting, in association with Studio Colin Polworth.
Next up, we've got the infrastructure category, proudly presented to you by ACO. Projects in this category are constructed landscape infrastructure projects, landscape strategies or works associated with civil infrastructure that demonstrate the successful integration of landscape values and which contribute to future sustainability. This category was very well received with 7 entries. Let's take a look.
Bungarraby Northern Bridge and Redgum Runway, JMD Design. Parramatta Light Rail Stage 1 Urban Design Requirements, Transport for New South Wales. Byron Bay Bus Interchange, Design Inc. Sydney. Elara Precinct 5 Riparian Parklands, Patterson Design Studio. Green Track for Parramatta Light Rail, Transport for New South Wales. Newcastle Light Rail and Public Domain, Context Landscape Architecture with Cox Architecture. Parramatta Light Rail Stage 1 Tree Offset Strategy, Transport for New South Wales.
The jury decided to award 1 Landscape Architecture Award and 1 Award of Excellence in Infrastructure. Now, the Landscape Architecture Award in Infrastructure goes to Green Track for Parramatta Light Rail by Transport for New South Wales.
A thoroughly and incredibly effective study that fundamentally shifts the traditional approach to transport as focused solely on the provision of hard infrastructure for the purposes of mobility, and instead demonstrates the co-benefits of living infrastructure in a way that is practical, scalable, replicable, and inspiring. The intellectual rigour and commitment to collaboration across disciplines such as engineering, climate science, soil, biodiversity, and landscape architecture demonstrates a truly integrated and creative approach to design. The problem solving is elegant and unyielding, the outcome transformational, and no doubt one that will enable more sensitive and system-based approaches to creating resilient, cool, and inspiring places in future. Congratulations, Transport for New South Wales.
The Award of Excellence in Infrastructure goes to Byron Bay Bus Interchange by Design Inc. Sydney.
An exemplar project that embeds a deep connection to its locale and explores the transport heritage in its detail. The bus interchange is integral to the urban fabric and function, with the design elements creating a memorable patron experience while acknowledging a working bus interchange association with the adjoining railway. A transport infrastructure benchmark that is well conceived and delivered. This is a community asset to be celebrated. Congratulations, Design Inc. Sydney.
Moving along to our next award category this evening, the Cultural Heritage category. proudly presented to you by Gosford Quarries, celebrating this year their 100-year anniversary. Projects in this category are constructed projects or strategies that demonstrate the restoration, conservation, enhancement, maintenance, or adaptive reuse of culturally significant sites. The Cultural Heritage category received 8 entries this year.
Fernhill Estate Foundation Plan of Management to 2026. Greater Sydney Parklands, New South Wales Department of Planning and Environment. Gosford Leagues Club Park, Turf Design Studio. Newmarket Randwick, Arcadia Landscape Architecture. Norma Parker Centre Garden and Parramatta Girls Home Memorial, JMD Design. Philomonia Gardens, Liverpool City Council in collaboration with Phillips Marler. The Springs Heritage Landscape Plan, Sala 4D. Wiradjuri Park Dubbo, Moya Landscape Architecture. Murrumburra Precinct Plan, Sala 4D.
The jury awarded 2 Landscape Architecture Awards in Cultural Heritage. The first Landscape Architecture Award in Cultural Heritage goes to Murrumburra Precinct Plan by Sala 4D.
The plan is commended for its multifaceted approach that delivers a framework to achieve a balance of environmental, social, and heritage benefits for years to come. It captures the community's desire for improving their environment and recognising First Nations and the intrinsic heritage of their town. A strong vision for the town that will create a valuable precinct renewal and attract locals and visitors alike. The integration of the chain of fish ponds, environmental rehabilitation, inclusive community spaces and integration of sculptural elements reminiscent of the Wiradjuri canoes or ring trees allow for cultural interpretation. This is a place for the people. Congratulations, Sala 4D.
The second Landscape Architecture Award goes to the Springs Heritage Landscape Plan, once again by Sala 4D.
The landscape architect is commended for developing a plan for recording and interpreting a 1930s Depression-era First Nations fringe camp on the outskirts of Orange with a strong consultative process. The project captures the true histories that shape local heritage that would otherwise have been lost and untold. The design interpretation treads lightly, allowing for reflection and cultural appreciation of a shared history. The plan will enhance visitor understanding and appreciation of the significance of the site. It will assist Council to strengthen and maintain relationships and connections between the community and the heritage item. It's an emotional place. The interpretive sculptures proposed are designed to simply allow those emotions to flow. Congratulations, Sala 4D.
We're almost halfway there, folks. Hope you're enjoying yourself so far. I certainly am. Next is the Parks and Open Space category, proudly presented to you by our long-standing partners at Street Furniture Australia. Projects entered in the Parks and Open Spaces category are constructed public parks and open spaces or strategic open space projects that balance the demand for recreation, culture and the environment. This category received 6 entries.
Albury Skate and Active Recreation Precinct, Place. Maxwell Creek Oval, Bardia, Place Design Group. The Crescent, JMD Design. The Ridgeway Park at Barden Ridge, Place Design Group. Wiradjuri Park, Dubbo, Moya Landscape Architecture. Gosford Leagues Club Park, Turf Design Studio.
The jury awarded 1 Award of Excellence and 1 Landscape Architecture Award in this category. The Landscape Architecture Award in Parks and Open Space goes to The Crescent by JMD Design.
An exemplar project that delivers a series of inclusive community park and open space opportunities as an inner city offering and valued community asset. The design has thoughtfully integrated heritage restoration works as an integral part of the site planning and addresses many site challenges, including stormwater, contamination, diversity of recreation and play offerings, to deliver an outstanding precinct. Special recognition is given to the care and respect for the materiality and the level of crafting in the execution. This attention to detail has resulted in a highly sophisticated and beautiful project, much loved by the community. Congratulations, JMD Design.
The Award of Excellence in Parks and Open Space goes to Albury Skate and Active Recreation Precinct by Place.
An exemplar skate, recreational and sports park that defines a new benchmark in the Albury region and nationally. The project provides a valuable community asset for inclusive youth recreation and for people of all ages and abilities. The Real Street theme establishes a strong identity for the skate elements, and the provision of a diversity of contemporary bespoke parkour, vent ramp, pump tracks and bouldering are commended. The recognition and successful integration of structured shade is noteworthy. A recreational asset and park for the people. Congratulations, Place.
All right, we're about halfway through tonight's awards, so it's the perfect time for a break. I met up with Jason Packenham from Aspect Studios to chat about the Sydney Light Rail Project 2021 National Award winner in infrastructure. Jace, here we are on the light rail. I'm sorry about this, but my limousine's broken down. What does a project like this say about how far Sydney's come?
I think it shows how far we've come socially and culturally. You can think about what George Street was 10, 15 years ago, and it seemed impossible to do what we've done. But you take a look at the result today and it's pretty special.
So, I mean, we're going through the city now and it's weaving through all these sorts of places. What's been the impact that the light rail has had on the places where it now stops and goes through?
I think Sydney Light Rail shows the value of place-based transport, and what we used to do was drive cars and buses and things through the city. But with Sydney Light Rail, we're able to deliver not just a transport service, but a lot of really great places along the way.
Oh, it's fantastic. What is the role of a landscape architect in a project like this?
I think there are two roles for a landscape architect. One is perhaps the more obvious one, which is designing the public space that goes along the alignment. But the second one is the role of design communicator. So on a project like this, you have a lot of complex transport requirements, and you have the grand city shaping aspirations of government and stakeholders. And landscape architects can play a really important role in bridging the gap between the two.
And you can put some hanging baskets in.
Awesome.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's get straight back into our awards winners this evening. Next comes the fun part, the Play Spaces category. The Play category is presented by Preludic. Projects in the Play Spaces category are constructed play spaces or strategies which promote the notion of active play and embraces the temporal elements of the active play space. The category received 5 entries this year.
Carlingford Skate and Youth Space, Convic. Deerbush Park Playground, Fairfield City Council. Gosford Leagues Club Park, Turf Design Studio. Milton Park Play Space, Campbelltown City Council. Variety Livy's Place, Glenfield, Place Design Group.
The jury decided to award in this category 1 Landscape Architecture Award and 1 Award of Excellence. And the Landscape Architecture Award in Play Spaces goes to Deerbush Park Playground by Fairfield City Council.
This project has delivered an impressive legacy for Fairfield City and celebrates the cultural diversity of the area, significant native vegetation, and the notion of play for all ages and abilities. a sophisticated weaving together of multiple all abilities play elements through protected Cumberland Plain woodland, has created a rich journey of active experiences, blending well with its natural environment and creating a place for everyone. The jury commends the removal of extensive contamination whilst retaining existing vegetation, demonstrating that our natural environment can be celebrated whilst providing much needed amenity for growing local communities. Congratulations, Fairfield City Council.
The Award of Excellence in Play Spaces goes to Gosford Leagues Club Park by Turf Design Studio.
An exemplary project which demonstrates a strong connection to country, informed through deep engagement with the local community. An intricate blend of play, storytelling, land and water, public art and interpretation that powerfully tells the shared history of the site while creating an exciting and dynamic play experience for children of all ages. The jury highly commends the role of landscape architects as facilitators for engagement with the local land council and creative practitioners to embrace stronger connections to country and setting the standard for integrating our shared history into our public spaces. This place has been reimagined as a place to play, reflect, to learn and to connect to nature. Congratulations, Turf Design Studio.
Next comes one of AILA's newest and always well entered category, Health and Education Landscape. This category is brought to you by Christie Barbecues. Projects in the health and education landscape are constructed landscape projects in and surrounding institutional spaces including educational, health or aged care facilities. Projects in this category demonstrate how the design contributes to the usability and operation of the facility and the well-being of the user. 8 projects were entered in this category.
Alumni Park, University of New South Wales, Spackman Mossop Michaels. Barker College Junior School, Umbaco Landscape Architects. Catherine Macaulay Catholic College, Moya Landscape Architecture. MacArthur Anglican School Integrated Studies Centre, Place Design Group. Macquarie University Central Courtyard, Aspect Studios. Santa Sophia Catholic College, Ground Inc. Landscape Architects. UTS Central, FJMT Studio. Barker College Prep School, Umbaco Landscape Architects.
The jury awarded 1 Landscape Architecture Award this year in this category, and it goes to Alumni Park, University of New South Wales by Spackman Mossop Michaels.
This project goes beyond the traditional campus landscape topologies and demonstrates a deep understanding of country in its response. The project covers all the pragmatic bases of a project of this nature through the rationalisation of pedestrian and vehicle routes and providing users with the necessary places to gather, relax and study. However, it goes beyond this and is an important demonstration of how, through extensive collaboration of landscape architects with the First Nations community, there can be no doubt that this is an Australian campus on Bedegal country. First Nations peoples are represented not just through artwork and plant species choices, but also through the meaningful engagement of social enterprises that provide increased employment and training from plant procurement, construction and ongoing maintenance. Congratulations, Spackman Mossop Michaels.
Moving along to the tourism category, proudly presented by Transport for New South Wales. Projects in this category are constructed or strategic projects that demonstrate excellence in landscape design and demonstrate a tangible contribution to tourism, either nationally or in the local region, that significantly enhances the profile of the area. The tourism category received 5 entries. Let's take a look, shall we?
African Wild Dogs Exhibit, Taronga Western Plains Zoo. Urban Initiatives. Bargo Maze, Bargo Maze and Wine. Canamble Shire Master Plan, Sala 4D. Minion Falls Lookout and Picnic Area, New Scape Design. Snowy Mountains Special Activation Precinct Concept Design, Oricon Group.
The jury awarded 2 Landscape Architecture Awards in this category. The first Landscape Architecture Award in tourism goes to Bago Maze by Bago Maze and Wine.
An innovative and effective idea that has been thoughtfully implemented to create an iconic and highly engaging regional tourism attraction. The jury commends the detailed thought into user experience and maintenance, the progressive implementation of the project on a minimal budget, using sustainably sourced materials from the property and innovative management techniques is commended. The success of this project is evident through the significant increase in visitor numbers over the past 10 years, positioning the winery as a key tourism asset for the region. Congratulations, Bargo Maze and Wine.
The second Landscape Architecture Award in tourism goes to Canamble Shire Master Plan by Sala 4D.
The Master Plan is a blueprint for investment and intervention into the New South Wales regional township to firmly establish Canamble as a tourist destination. More than a master plan, the landscape architect has met the client's desire to achieve a diversity of planning, consultation, and creative ideas in a single consultancy. Working at large and small scales, this includes well-considered Main Street upgrades, a visitor information centre, artesian bathing experience, as well as rethinking an approach to signage and corporate branding. Council and the community are commended for their vision, which the landscape architect has brought to life. Congratulations, Sala 4D.
Moving on to our next category, Civic Landscape. In this category, projects are constructed urban landscape projects that are public in nature and capture and contribute to the culture and amenity of the urban environment around them. 5 entries received in this category. Let's review them now.
Alex Trevelyan Plaza Upgrade, Phillips Marla. Bridges Hill Park and Walking Trail, Moya Landscape Architecture. Gosford Leagues Club Park, Turf Design Studio. The Waterfront Shell Cove, Group GSA. Warwick Lane, McGregor Coxall with Cox Architecture.
After long deliberations, the jury has decided not to award in this category this year. There's only a few categories left, folks. Next up is the small projects, proudly presented to you by the Friendly Coordinated Landscapes team, also celebrating a milestone this year of 50 years in business. Congratulations. Projects in this category include those considered to be small in terms of size or budget. Projects are recognised that have been constrained by size or budget restrictions, but have achieved a level of invention and creativity beyond those constraints. The small category was also well entered with the following 7 projects.
City of Newcastle Administration Roof Terrace, Terrace Landscape Architects. Clothier's Creek Swimming Hole, Landscape Workshop. Miller Street Pop-Up Plaza, Spackman Mossop Michaels. Seven Ways Bondi, Tyrrell Studio. Sky Parks, Common Grounds Landscape Architecture. Surrey Hills House, Waterloo Street, Surrey Hills, Black Beetle. University of Newcastle, SABE Courtyard. University of Newcastle, School of Architecture and Built Environment.
1 Excellence Award and 1 Landscape Architecture Award were given in the small project category. The Landscape Architecture Award in small project goes to the University of Newcastle Sabe Courtyard by University of Newcastle School of Architecture and Built Environment.
The Courtyard activation is an exemplary environmental and social intervention promoting the benefits of rewilding and encouraging a symbiotic relationship between humans and wildlife. As a living laboratory, the research investigates critical regenerative and responsible land management practices, whilst creating an outdoor space for students and staff to interact and relax. A project to be celebrated and enjoyed. Congratulations, University of Newcastle School of Architecture and Built Environment.
The Award of Excellence in Small Project categories goes to Sky Parks by Common Grounds Landscape Architecture.
The jury highly commends the role of landscape architects as facilitators for engagement, research and leadership in sustainability measures in our existing built environment with ongoing testing and monitoring. Its wider application has the potential to make significant social, environmental and cultural impacts. Although small in scale, this is a transformative project of underutilised urban space and applies innovative practice. It highlights the value of green infrastructure in delivering ecological and heat reduction benefits of living roofs, but more importantly, advances research and thinking on carbon sequestration potential. The knowledge and learning are applicable at a larger scale and establish a new level of professional leadership that is commended. Congratulations, Common Grounds Landscape Architecture.
Like Culture, well, we're a collection of educated and knowledgeable people who have come together to provide lighting solutions for the Australian lighting market. And the experience we have in the lighting industry, both here and overseas, enable us to really hit the mark when it comes to delivering the right products for the customers. So we have some of the world's highest quality products, but it's also about the after sales and using issues as opportunities to show the customers how good we are.
Our next award category is Urban Design, and it's proudly presented by the Bright team at Light Culture and Bega. Projects in the Urban Design category are constructed or strategic projects that demonstrate how the design, construction management and built outcome contributes to the well-being of the urban setting through the improvement of social interaction, economic activity, livability, accessibility and safety. Projects will have a specific focus on how landscape architecture has contributed to the urban design outcome. Lots of interest in this category. We had 12 projects entered, and here they are.
Albury City Cultural Precinct Master Plan, TCL. Castle Hill Showground Master Plan, McGregor Coxall with the Hills Shire Council. Cockatoo Island Warriama Concept Vision, Turf Design Studio. Dank Street South Precinct, Jane Irwin Landscape Architecture with City of Sydney, Bangawarra and MAPA Art and Architecture. Glebe Skate Plaza, Convic. Granville Square, City of Parramatta. Parks CBD Vibrancy Strategy, King and Campbell Proprietary Limited with Parks Shire Council. Parramatta Light Rail Stage 1 Urban Design Requirements, Transport for New South Wales. Terrigal Boardwalk and Rock Pool, Urup. The Canopy Precinct, Arcadia Landscape Architecture and Scott Carver, Landscape Architecture. Westpac Place, 275 Kent Street, Aspect Studios. Grafton Precinct, V Design and Fourfold Studio.
In this category, the jury awarded 3 Landscape Architecture Awards. The first Landscape Architecture Award in Urban Design goes to Grafton Precinct by V Design and Fourfold Studio.
This project demonstrates the potential of landscape architecture to consider people and Grafton's future with locals firmly at its heart. Through this master plan, the landscape architect has set a new standard for precinct planning, both from a design and consultation perspective. Its success hinged upon a unique and methodically diverse co-design process. The master plan will be a catalyst for staged implementation, funding, and delivery of new and engaging spaces in Grafton. The methodology is transferable and commended. Congratulations, V Design and Fourfold Studio.
The second Landscape Architecture Award in Urban Design goes to Cockatoo Island, Warriama Concept Vision by Turf Design Studio.
The jury commends the extensive role of landscape architects in creating a document that recognises that the vision for this World Heritage Site needs to evolve into one which respects the importance of Cockatoo Island for First Nations people, its important role in the history of Australia, and its ecological contribution to Sydney Harbour. The innovative use of the artwork by Mark Garada as a design tool throughout the process, rather than just a pretty vision for publication, is particularly commended. Congratulations, Turf Design Studio.
The last Landscape Architecture Award in Urban Design goes to Glebeskate Plaza by Convic.
The urban design category is represented by a diverse mix of both built and strategic work. But at its essence, it represents projects that demonstrate how landscape architects contribute to the improvement of urban settings, the ability of landscape to bring people together in our cities. This project is to be commended for its transformation of an underutilised and fenced-off urban setting into a unique urban place that acts as both plaza and skateable landscape. The use of recycled materials that ground the project in its setting is to be applauded. The jury particularly enjoyed the recreation of iconic 90s Sydney skate moments where skaters have been moved on, and hope this space becomes an iconic place for skaters and community alike. Congratulations, Convic.
Okie dokie. Next is the award that was introduced by our jury chair this year in New South Wales, the AILA ShadeSmart Award category. This is an initiative in collaboration with the Cancer Council New South Wales and the Cancer Institute New South Wales, and proudly sponsored by Alfresco Shades, Preludic and Andreasen's Green. The ShadeSmart program, launched in April 2022, aims to develop a robust education program to support landscape architects and improve their awareness and understanding of quality shade for UV and heat protection. The jury awarded 2 ShadeSmart awards, and the first one goes to Bankstown and Campsie CBD Urban Tree Canopy Master Plan by Oculus with Tree IQ and Homewood Consulting.
The master plan is commended as a framework to allow local government to plan and fund staged implementation of tree canopy and shade as an integral part of green infrastructure. It is acknowledged that the master plan will inform forward development controls that will influence access to shade in public domain and private development. The provision of shade planning through increased tree planting is to be commended. The master plan delivers practical and feasible solutions to support a healthy and sustainable community. The Urban Tree Master Plan will deliver long-term health benefits for New South Wales residents. Congratulations, Oculus and the team.
The second ShadeSmart Award goes to New South Wales Urban Tree Canopy, Targets and Controls by Gallagher Studio with Studio Zanardo.
The jury and Cancer Council New South Wales acknowledges this body of work as a foundation study that is transformative in establishing new green infrastructure tree canopy targets and controls to inform New South Wales government guidelines and practice in New South Wales. Tree canopy is a critical component of natural shade for healthy and resilient cities. The work has elevated the discussion and awareness of shade planning. The study has empowered local government to invest into green infrastructure and climate-responsive actions for intergenerational benefit. A project of excellence, providing the foundation for sustainable urban living and shade investment for the benefit of future generations in New South Wales. Congratulations, Gallagher Studio with Studio Zanardo.
The next category is Regional Achievement category, and it recognises projects that are making a difference improving the healthy communities or built and natural environments of regional Australia. I now welcome the Mayor of Byron Shire Council, Michael Lyon, to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. It's fantastic that tonight we are celebrating landscape architecture and the valuable contribution that your profession provides to regional communities. In the Byron Shire, we've seen firsthand how community-led design and the promotion of the principles of sustainability, resilience and cultural heritage can make such a lasting difference. For example, in projects that have been previously awarded, like Railway Park in the Byron Shire. So, best of luck to all the entrants tonight.
This year, AILA New South Wales is pleased to see that a third of the entries were regional projects showcasing the reach and influence of our members, not only in metropolitan areas but well into New South Wales regional communities. The jury commended 6 Regional Achievement Awards this year across 4 New South Wales regions. First up is Northern New South Wales with 2 award recipients. The first winner of a Regional Achievement Award in Northern New South Wales is Minion Falls Lookout and Picnic Area by Newscape Design.
Healing country and connecting to nature lie at the heart of this exemplary project. Sophisticated resolution of multiple project objectives and technical challenges has led to the creation of a visitor destination that enhances and improves access to this stunning natural destination. The project was successfully conceived as part of a cohesive approach to enhance the tourism and local economies in the region. New and improved facilities and amenities have been sensitively integrated into the surrounding national park, with an all-access walkway enabling visitors of all levels of mobility to explore the site and connect with nature, providing enhanced visitor experiences. Congratulations, Newscape Design.
The second winner of a Regional Achievement Award in Northern New South Wales is Byron Bay Bus Interchange by Design Inc. Sydney.
The Byron Bay Council and Project team are commended for the delivery of a regionally transformative infrastructure project that respectfully showcases the rail history, the water tower and turntable heritage. Recognition of the traditional custodians of the land, the Arakwal people of the Bundjalung Nation, is incorporated through public artwork engagement throughout the site. A contemporary civic design that contributes to the urban fabric and local identity. Congratulations, Design Inc. Sydney.
Next is the Central Coast and Hunter region, which received 2 Regional Achievement Awards. The first winner of a Regional Achievement Award in the Central Coast and Hunter region is Bridges Hill Park and Walking Trail by Moya Landscape Architecture.
This project delivers a real gift to the local community in its well-executed design that does a great job of considering the needs of people of all ages and walks of life. The incorporation of the natural environment, Indigenous storytelling and tree planting regime is very well executed. The compassion, imagination, creativity and care of its creators signifies a deep connection to community. Above all, it looks like a very fun place to hang out. Where too often projects are divided up into smaller contracts and short timeframes, the jury endorses the approach in involving and upskilling council teams and expects that this will develop capacity and result in even more brilliant projects and pride and care for place in future. Undoubtedly, this commitment creates a sense of care and pride for the project that will put it in good stead in years to come. We can't wait to visit. Congratulations, Moya Landscape Architecture.
The second winner of Regional Achievement Award in Central Coast and Hunter region is Terrigal Boardwalk and Rock Pool by Arab.
At an impressive 227 metres in length, this generously scaled new boardwalk delivers a real asset to the local community of Terrigal and visitors alike. Planned with respect to harsh coastal conditions and detailed with materials that complement the natural environment, this safe and accessible walkway weaves its way around a rocky headland via an upgraded ocean pool. This project is sure to please with stunning views across Terrigal and beyond. Be sure to make it part of your next visit to the Central Coast. Congratulations, Arup.
Our third region is Western New South Wales, which received 1 Regional Achievement Award, and the winner of the Regional Achievement Award in Western New South Wales is Coonamble Shire Master Plan by Sala 4D.
A deep understanding of the unique identities and challenges of the towns and villages of the Coonamble Shire is evident throughout this project. This project embodies the rich sense of place of the region, and the proposed interventions magnify the best characteristics of the place. The jury commends the landscape architect's focus on deep consultation with the community, which has informed a series of proposals that, whilst holistic and unified, amplify the unique character and opportunities of each location. Congratulations, Sala 4D.
Finally, our last project award for tonight is the Regional Achievement Award in Southern New South Wales. The winner is Albury Skate and Active Recreation Precinct by Place.
The Albury City and Project Design team are commended for the inception and delivery of an engaging skate and active recreational precinct that caters for a range of ages, abilities and activities. Success is gauged in its acceptance by the public. This space is great for all ages. Used by families and an activated space that attracts youth, allowing them to perform, create and interact. A valuable community asset that sets a new benchmark for public open spaces and for the region. Congratulations, Place.
As the winner of the Future Leader Graduate Award in 2021 and as a registered landscape architect with AILA, I was privileged to be part of the 2022 New South Wales jury this year. It is my great honour to introduce the next category, Future Leaders. These two awards recognise achievement in design, planning, communication and research that is based upon the development of innovative, creative and practical solutions to landscape architectural challenges. The student category received 7 nominations. Kayla Bright, Charlotte Druce, Isabel Pang, Lewis Parsons O'Malley, Sam Lockwood, Tan Fung Dung and Wangzi Peng. The AILA 2022 Student Future Leader Award goes to Sam Lockwood. Congratulations, Sam.
The jury was impressed by the body of work, depth of thinking and professionalism in exploring a variety of landscape challenges as a student. Sam exhibits a strong passion for the landscape architecture profession, with his achievements to date acknowledged by the 2022 Future Leaders Award. We look forward to his future contributions. Congratulations, Sam.
The graduate category also received 7 nominations. Daniel Rook, Emma Lacoste, Jaden and Yip, Shivani Bhatnagar, Nick Lazuik, Olivia Montaloni and Taj Papapti. The AILA 2022 Graduate Future Leader Award goes to Shivani Bhatnagar. Congratulations, Shivani.
This award celebrates the outstanding achievements of Shivani as a graduate landscape architect. Her depth of professional understanding and articulation of cultural landscapes is an inspirational exploration. I am to imbibe the idea of viewing our landscape as layers of interactions over time. Interpretation of natural, cultural and scenic values of landscape requires an analytical approach for a balanced assessment. We look forward to your future contribution to the profession, a highly commendable achievement. Congratulations, Shivani.
Well, thank you so much for watching and being part of things tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Can you please put your hands together for our wonderful jury members this year? You can only imagine how much work they went through, those 91 entries, thousands and thousands of words put together in statements of achievements. You do the maths, add up the hours of reviewing. It's a phenomenal effort from the jury team this year, and we all thank them for that. Well, that's a wrap. We had 38 awards, 91 entrants. Congratulations to you all, and don't forget to share your wonderful snaps on social media using the tag @AILA. And thank you for continuing to support and share your projects and taking us on your journey. And thank you for being here tonight. Good luck to all our winners at the National Awards, and we'll see you all in October in Brisbane. Enjoy your night. Keep smiling. Bye for now.